Okay, so we are here to talk about the Torch Awards today, and I am going to run through things for you. I am not a very formal person, so if you have any questions along the way, just ask them. Unmute yourself. If you're thinking it, probably somebody else is thinking it as well. So don't hesitate to ask those questions. I would love to answer them, and I don't want anybody to leave this webinar wondering. So please don't hesitate to ask. But I'm going to run through the nuts and bolts of everything for the Torch Awards so that you do have everything. So, as I said, I've already introduced myself. My contact information is on here, my email and my phone number. Never hesitate to reach out to me. I would be happy to answer you. We can be besties by the time this is all over, because I want you to have all the information that you do need. So don't hesitate to reach out. So I'm going to talk about a lot of things today. I'm going to go over the awards in general, why you should apply, what is required, what isn't required, how the judging works, as well as talk about some best practices. And then one thing that I think stumps some people is what kind of supporting documents should you include? So we'll talk about that, and also what's involved in the site visit. The site visit is a game changer. So I will be happy to talk about all that with you as well. Can everybody see my screen with the nod of your heads? Okay, good. So let's talk about the awards in general. The awards used to be called the Eclipse Integrity Awards. We started in 1994. We were one of the first BBBs to have such an awards program. However, then the National BBB Association began doing awards as well, and they called theirs the Torch Awards for Ethics. So in 2022, they said, nope, you can't call yourself the Eclipse Integrity anymore. You have to follow the brand guidelines. You all know how that goes if you're in PR. And so in 2022, we had to change our name to the BBB Torch Awards for Ethics. We've always followed the model of the national since they came on board, but we did have to change our name in 2022. Now, you've probably heard some horror stories about how hard the application used to be. It is not anymore. It used to involve a 2-inch 3-ring binder. It was massive. It's not that bad anymore at all. Now it's 4 essays, some supporting documentation, and your logo, right? Can't get much easier than that. And you have 2 months to make it happen. So all is good. Last year, we implemented a Golden Torch Award, and that's kind of the best overall award. So what the judges do is they look at the winners in each category and choose who the best one of all the winners are. And that's the Golden Torch Award. But as you are putting your torch application together, you're going to be talking about your organization's leadership's character. You're going to be talking about the organization's culture, talking about how your relationships with customers are, as well as talk about what your relationship is in the community. So those are the 4 words you should keep in mind as you're putting together your nomination or application. There's lots of benefits to winning. There are some great ones. Some of the few is that it is a unique awards program. How awesome to be recognized for your ethics and integrity. It says a lot about your company when you're recognized in that regard. It showcases you as an ethical leader, and it is a deciding factor for prospective employees. How nice to know that you're going to work for a company that is being recognized for its ethics and integrity. The dinner is with about 400 to 500 business leaders, so it's great recognition there. You get a fabulous award. It is a crystal torch award. It's beautiful. And then the increased employee pride for being recognized that they've been doing the right thing, and an outside organization has recognized that. You'll get lots of media exposure. In fact, the Thursday after the awards program, we have a double truck in the Dayton Daily News announcing our finalists and winners. You get to promote the accomplishment yourself. You can use the logo as a finalist or a winner in everything that you do. And again, there's that best overall award. So it's pretty cool stuff if you win, or even become a finalist, to be honest with you. So let's talk about eligibility a little bit. So you do have to be a for-profit organization, a 501c3, or a 501c6, not a government organization. You do not have to be BBB accredited. You do not have to be a charity seal holder. That is not required. We have winners that pay dues and those that don't pay dues. It is not a factor at all. If you are a 501c3 nonprofit, you do have to meet all of the BBB standards for charity accountability. If you're not sure you do, reach out to me and I can put you in touch with our charitable advisory service. And they can tell you if you do or not, and they can walk you through the process so that you can meet those standards before the judges finish their process. If you are a business or a 501c6, you must have a B rating or higher with the BBB. The BBB rates organizations from an A+ to an F, just like schools, so to speak. So we're saying that our winners are the cream of the crop, and so they have to have a B rating or higher. You do also have to do business in the BBB service area. All the counties are listed there. There are 7.5 of them. And then you must have been in business for 3 years. We don't want to know that you've been practicing integrity for 3 months since you opened your doors. We want to see there's some tenure of that integrity. And then again, all financial obligations must be met. Couple more requirements are applicants are not eligible if they have received the award in the past 3 years. We don't want to be one of those awards programs where the same companies win year after year after year. There are too many great companies in our service area that should be recognized. And so you cannot compete if you've won in the last 3 years. We've already talked about government agencies are not eligible. If you have any major lawsuits, you need to disclose those in your entry. I will be honest, in years past, there have been companies that were about to be named finalists, and we came to find out that there was a major lawsuit, and then we had to pull them out of the competition. So just be transparent of that. And I'm not talking about those angry customers from the hell that took you to civil court. That's not what I'm talking about. I am talking about like government actions. That's where we need to look a little further into it. Also, if you serve on the Torch Award Planning Committee or are a major sponsor, then you can't compete as well, but that is not the case for anyone here. Any questions about anything we've talked about so far?
Yes, Sherry, I have a question.
Please.
Dee, when you mentioned all financial obligations are met, can you explain that a little bit more?
We don't want to find out, for instance, that you are regularly not paying your bills.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Yes, you're absolutely. Any and all questions are welcome. There's all good. So talking about the judging a little bit, entries will be reviewed by a panel of judges that are independent of the BBB staff and board of directors. I don't even look at the entries. All I do is look at your entry sheet. It is totally dependent on the judges. I will tell you that my team here will do a background check on your companies before I forward them to the judges, but that's all they do is just to do that background check, which is where sometimes we find out about those lawsuits. The judges will make personal visits to award finalists, only the finalists, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. All judges' decisions are final. If they choose not to issue an award, if they don't think anyone is worthy, they have the right to do that. There have been cases where a category was opted out because they did not feel anyone was worthy in those. And also they will review each category's winner and select one Golden Torch Award winner. So let's talk about what you have to enter. So there are basically 4 essays that you will have to write about your organization. And we're going to go through them one by one so you know exactly what you're looking at. So the first essay you're going to write is about your character, your leadership's character. It should be written from the voice of your leadership. Of course, you can ghostwrite it, but it should come from your president, owner, CEO, whoever that may be. When you're answering these questions about your character and writing that essay, these are the 3 questions you need to answer. I would actually use these 3 questions as your subheads. That way there is no question to the judges that you are answering those 3 questions. So you're going to talk about how your leadership lives and leads with high character and are very intentional about their actions, how they empower the staff to carry it through, and the tools, activities, or trainings that they use. So I would literally use those 3 questions as subheads. These are not lengthy essays. They only need to be 1 to 2 pages. Don't write a novel, not necessary. Use bullets, use bolding, whatever you need to do, but it does not need to be lengthy. 1 to 2 pages is perfect. Jeremy, I see you have a raised hand.
Are you gonna distribute this?
The slide deck, I will.
Okay, thank
I
you.
will send it afterwards for sure. So do not take furious notes. I meant to say that to begin with. I'm sorry. So the second essay you're going to write is about your organization's culture. And again, there are 3 very specific questions that you're going to answer, and they are listed here as well. Use them as your subheads. Talk about how you unite your team around your vision and mission, how you empower employees, as well as what practices your company uses to demonstrate the leadership's expectations and what their culture is. So those are the 3 questions you ask. Again, 1 to 2 pages, does not have to be lengthy. It's much easier than it used to be in the past. Then the third essay is going to be about your customer relationships. And of course, that's important. We all want to have great customers. We want to create those raving fans. And this is where you can toot your horn on how you build those customer relationships. Again, there are 3 questions for you to answer. How you empower your employees, once again, to address issues, how they go above and beyond. You'll probably find out some great stories that you weren't aware of as you go through this process, and where your commitment to honesty would just made a positive difference in your company. So talk about those 3 things in your essay. Now, as you're writing these essays, think about the documentation that you can submit to support your essays. And we'll talk about those supporting documents in a minute. But with each essay you submit, you also want to provide some supporting documents, and we'll talk about those in a bit too. But again, 1 to 2 pages, nothing lengthy. The last essay you're going to write is about your community relationship. Again, 3 questions, not difficult, 1 to 2 pages. Talk about the program or events that your organization has in place, how employees, again, spend their time in the community. You know, when they're out there, they're talking about you, and also any contribution of funds or in-kind services that you provide to the community as well. So it's the same rule of thumb as the other essays that we've written about. Any questions about the essays? Okay. So some best practices as you're putting them together. One is, remember, this award is all about ethics and integrity. Please, please, please use those words in your essays. That's what this is about. Focus on your best practices. Yes, you're fabulous. Of course you're fabulous, or you wouldn't be here. But talk about those best practices that put you above your competition. Also, remember that if you are an organization that has a headquarters somewhere else, then your nomination should reflect your local activities. It's okay that you have a headquarters in Chicago or where have you. We want to know what you're doing locally that demonstrates your ethics and integrity. Carefully select your support letters. We don't need 50 support letters in your nominations. That was in the old 3-ring binder days. There were hundreds of support letters in nominations. We don't need that anymore. Go through and choose those best ones. When you're asking for those support letters, tell them what you want them to say and what the award is about that you're going for. Choose who you're going to give it to and ask for. I will tell you that I have a chamber member who is one of my judges, and she will tell you that if you ask the chamber for a support letter, they're going to give you a form letter. You don't want a form letter. You want a letter that is specific to you. So choose those support letters carefully. Put it together with your judges in mind. So make it very clear to them what you're trying to say. use bullets, use highlighting, whatever you need to do to make it stand out to be very clear. Those subheads can be a game changer. So they clearly know that you're addressing the questions that are being asked. And don't start from scratch. These are all things that you already have. When I'm talking about the supporting documents, don't create anything new. This is just a matter of putting them someplace so you can upload them into your application. Don't have to create anything. It is in your organization's DNA. Any questions about best practices? Okay. So let's talk about the supporting documents. This list is not an end-all be-all. You do not have to include all of these. You may have something beyond these that you think would be great to include. This is just to get the brainstorming started. So some things to include as supporting documents are your mission and vision statements. Maybe it's an employee awards program that you have. The Beyond the Call of Duty stories are pretty cool. And these are things that you may find out as you go through the process. So for instance, when Rumpke won several years ago, they had a story in their nomination about how there was a client on the side of the road pouring through her trash, crying, sobbing. She had lost her diamond ring in the trash. That truck driver stopped his route, poured through the trash with her until they found that ring. You think Rumpke created a raving fan? You bet. Those are great stories to put together. And Rumpke didn't know that story until they started going through this process. So there's some cool things of self-discovery you can go find as you go through this process. Excuse me. You can put a listing of your awards, your best practices, your honors, include pages from your employee handbook that have to do with your ethics. Another very cool thing to include is a 2-minute video about your organization. Grab some key employees, a board member, your leadership, whoever it may be. And with your phone, you don't have to hire anybody to do it. Create a video telling your story for you. And there's a really cool program that is free for you to use. It's like PowerPoint for video. It's called Animoto. It is ANIMOTO. It will create a great video for you. If I can use it, all of you can use it. I'm not techno savvy. You saw me trying to use the share screen, right? Animoto is fantastic if you want to create that video. And you can just use your cell phone. Super easy. You don't have to hire anybody. Doesn't have to be that hard at all. Other examples of supporting documents, you can put your board of directors activities, a listing of the trainings that your staff go through, your financial statements, samples of communications to your constituents, as well as an annual report if you have an annual report. Employee events are a great thing to include in there as well. Maybe you have a picnic, maybe you have a Christmas party, maybe you have something else. Include those things in there as well. Again, I will send you this slide deck. You do not have to copy it right for this. I will send it to you and this is just ideas. It is not everything. You don't have to include it all, but it's just an idea to start getting the wheels turning on what you can use as supporting documents. So let's talk about how you submit. So what you're going to go is you're going to go to bbb.org. And you're going to go to the 3 little lines at the top right of the page. Click that and scroll down to Torch Awards. And it's going to take you to a page that looks like this at the top of the page. And when you go there, you are going to click on Enter Your Business or Charity. Don't click on Nominate a Business or Charity. That is where the public can nominate you. Go to Enter Your Business or Charity. In some cases, this is a 2-step process. So right now, we have ads running, billboards running, encouraging the public to nominate businesses for the Torch Awards. All they have to do is click on the Nominate a Business button, and they just have to give me your company name for the most part, and maybe some contact information if they have it. Then what happens once we get a nomination, then the company has to support that nomination. And that's what we're talking about with the application that we're talking about. And that's where you'll click Enter Your Business or Charity. Once you click on that, it's going to take you to a page like this where you can start submitting the information. The very first page you go to is going to be your entry form information. It's the basic. It's the who, what, where, when, why, what your organization's name is, what's your address, how many full-time employees you have. Super easy questions that you get asked all the time. So you'll fill all that out. Then you will start entering your essays, and you'll go to a page like this. It is going to go through, let me back up a minute. When you're writing your essays, I encourage you to write them in Word or whatever word processing system you use. Write them in Word and then go through and enter them. You can copy and paste it right out of Word and put it right into the box that you see here in front of you. Then what you're going to do, once you have copied that into the box, you're going to upload your supporting documents. And you can do that on the button right here below. Now, the cool thing is, I know if you're like me, I'm busy. I get called away from my desk all the time. If you get called away, it is no panic. All you have to do is hit the save button. There is a save feature. So you can click that and then you can come back to it. So there is a save feature, which I think is a total blessing because I know my day gets crazy sometimes. But you'll do this 4 times, once for each of those categories that we've talked about. Copy and paste your essay in, then upload the supporting documents to support that essay. Cool. Any questions about the entering process?
Yeah, Sherry, I have a question.
Please.
Is there a way to upload the essay in a PDF, or does it have to be copied and pasted into the box?
That's a good question. Dee, is this Dee talking?
Yes.
Dee, I'm gonna have to check on that and make sure. The easiest way is due to copy paste, but I will check on the PDF. And now you could do the PDF as part of your supporting documents, and you could do it that way. But let me verify that and get back to you.
I'm very formal with that when I write, and I feel weird just copying and pasting. So I just want to make sure if I can, that would work for me. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I will go through. And then I see that Carol asked if you have to do it all in the same setting or can you do it over days? Yes, that's where that save function comes in fabulously. So I hope that answers that question, Carol. I saw that in the chat. I would recommend you don't do it alone. I still want you to speak to me in March when you submit your applications. It's a lot and you have different experts in different areas of your business. Ask for their help. You can form a staff committee with people from different departments and within your company, rally volunteers, hire an intern. We are an education town, as Cassie will tell you. We are an education town with all kinds of colleges, and it is a great opportunity to give a student some great resume information. I can give you an example. The food bank hired someone to put together their nomination years ago. They went through and they applied 1 year. Unfortunately, they didn't win that year, but they tried again the next year with the intern. They won. That intern now works for the food bank and knows the company inside and out. He is lovely, loves the food bank, is one of their biggest fans. So don't hesitate to hire an intern. There are some great ones in town that can help you out. So check that out. Come on, computer. So it may seem a little daunting, but it is so completely doable. And I've kind of put down a schedule to help you out a little bit, because sometimes it's hard to see the forest for the trees. So what I would suggest is this month, if you are a bigger organization, to distribute a communication from your leadership saying, hey, we're going for this award. We're going to win it, but so-and-so may need your help. If they come to you, please give them the information expediently. I can tell you that when Think Patent did win for the award, Chris, who was putting it all together, sent an email from Niels, the president, saying, we're going for it, we're going to win, and please help her out when it goes. It can be very effective. The other thing I would suggest is put boxes in the common areas of your office. Like we have a workroom here at the BBB where our copiers are and the mailing machine is and all of that. Or set up folders on the internet labeled for each of the criteria, and then people can just throw things into those boxes or those folders, and you don't have to go hunting and asking for it. All you have to do is sort through what's in those boxes or those folders and decide what you want, what you don't want, and what you may still need. Rally any help that you want to rally help for. Ask for those letters of support. Be very clear when you're asking what you want those letters to say and when you want them back, right? That's the key. Here's some really cool ideas for you as well. Is I would also send out an email to your staff for stories about people who have gone above and beyond on behalf of your company. That's where you'll find out some very cool stories like the Rumpke one that I shared. The other thing is I would go to your staff and ask them for the lists of the boards or committees or community groups that they serve on. You can bet when they're serving on those committees, those boards, teaching Sunday school, that at some point or another, they're talking about your company and representing you. If not, they should be, right? You can bet when I'm sitting on the Culture Works board or I was on the swim team president or whatever, I was talking about the BBB, they'll be doing the same things. And all they do is they expand your footprint. So list those in one of your supporting documents. And then again, continue to gather those supporting documents, however you can do that, because that's helpful. So that's what I would do in January. Focus on those things. For some reason, my computer doesn't want to click. Come on, you can do it. Oh, no, I went too far. The other thing you're going to want to do bear with me, is next month. See, when I told you I'm technologically not capable sometimes, this is one of those times. So really next month, what you're going to do in February is you're going to go through and you're going to write those essays. You are going to, it's 4 essays, it's 8 pages max, not hard. Take time and maybe each week in March, write those essays. Then review and fine tune your application, and then submit it on March 1st. I would have other people look at your applications and get their opinion. Sometimes we talk in our own jargon. We forget some things that we've done. And those other people looking at your application can be a great boost to it and provide you with some good enhancements. So go through and do that. March 1st, you'll submit it, and then you'll start thinking about your site visit. Site visits are going to happen on April 2nd, 2024. So put that date on your calendar now. And here's how it's going to work. Is the judges are going to go through and look at all of the applications that we receive, and they're going to tell me on March 25th who their finalists are in each category. March 25th, I will call the finalists and say, congratulations, you're finalists. The judges are coming on April 2nd at 2:30. It literally works that fast. There's not a whole lot of wiggle room on that. They're not going to come on the 3rd. They're not going to come on the 4th. In fairness to all the other finalists, right? We can't give one company more time than another company. So site visits will be on April 2nd. There will be 2 to 3 judges that will be coming to do the site visit. They are community leaders. I will not tell you who they are beforehand. They will just show up and be excited to hear your story. The site visit is an opportunity for you to show them that what's in your application is really in place day in and day out within your company. Again, please, dear Lord, use the words integrity and ethics. That is one thing that there have been a couple of site visits my judges have gone to and come back to me and said, Sherry, they didn't even talk about their integrity. But please, 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 please make that a big part of your presentation. Carefully consider who tells your story. Don't have the same person talk for the 30 to 45 minutes. No one, like you don't want to hear me talk this whole time. No one wants to hear the same person talk for a long period of time. And the judges told me another story where they went to the site visit and the CEO talked the whole time. The CEO told a story about an employee that did something wonderful. The employee was standing right next to the CEO. The employee could have told that story. So think about what volunteers, what employees, what board members, what community members, what clients can help you tell your story. It's always great to have somebody else toot your horn rather than yourself. So go through and look at that. You can do it through a PowerPoint presentation. You can do it through tours of your facility. You can have key staff tell parts of your story. You can have clients tell parts of your stories, whatever it may be. The choice is yours. You have 30 to 45 minutes to tell your story. At 45 minutes, the judges will leave whether you're done or not. Again, that's in fairness to the other finalists. It's not fair that one finalist gets 45 minutes and the other one gets the hour. So the time limit on those site visits is 30 to 45 minutes. Be prepared, time it out, tell your story. I will tell you the best site visits I've heard are run with a stopwatch. So I know when Chris was putting together her site visit for Think Patented, she had a stopwatch and was making sure that they went to this person, to this person, to this person, to this person in a specific amount of time so that all their story could be told. Be careful you don't pick somebody windy to tell your story and eat up all your time. Make sure everybody knows what they're supposed to say and how long they have to say it in practice. So, do a run through because it is a game changer. I will tell you the points look one way going into the site visits based on the applications, and the site visits has flip-flopped it. So site visits can be very, very important. Any questions about the site visits?
Yeah, Sherry, I have a question. This
Please.
is when the visitors do come, will you give us times prior to, or how do we know what time they're going to come? How does that work?
When I call you on the 25th, I will literally call and say on April 22nd, the judges are coming to see you at 2:30.
Okay.
Or 3:30, whatever that time may be. I will literally call and tell you what time they're coming. There may be a little wiggle room in that time period that I give you, but there's not much because I'm mapping it out for them so they can get to each place within that day frame. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Jeremy, I see your hand up.
Yeah, so we actually run everything out of my home.
Yeah.
We're looking for space now, but on that same day, we have our monthly outing, our Taco Tuesday. Could we just, you know what I mean, have them come to Taco Tuesday?
You absolutely could.
Okay.
There are all kinds of things you can do. I mean, you can have them come to an event. Just be very organized about it so you get everything done in that 30 minutes. I have had organizations that don't have a space. For instance, PFLAG one year, they don't have a space. They held it at one of the places where they hold their support group meetings, and they did it there. I had another company that was going to go through it, and they didn't have a space. They used one of their board members' conference rooms. So whatever is right for you is totally fine. Other questions?
So Sherry, it would be okay if I do work from home, because I do a lot of times, that would be okay to have them come to the home?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Whatever works best for you. Or if there's a space that you can use, you can go that route too.
Okay.
Other questions? All good questions. Okay. So let's talk about the award categories. It's based on the number of full-time employees. You'll see that question on the entry form when you're entering. That's how the categories are broken up, is by the number of full-time employees. For businesses, there are 4 categories. There's small, medium, large, and extra large. For nonprofits, there's small and large. There have been a few years where we've had a 3rd category for nonprofits because we've had some great candidates. So we made a 3rd category. I can't tell you how exact that breakdown is. I will be honest. I used to say small is 1 to 3 employees, medium is 5 to whatever that may be. ended up when I preset those sizes, it didn't work out. They were not competing apples to apples. So now I wait until all of the applications come in. I look at the entry forms and I find where those natural breaks are to create those categories. So I can't tell you exactly how many full-time employees companies are going to go towards one category. Does that make sense? You would think in my head, it always seemed like it should work if I preset the sizes. It doesn't. So that is a story on that. And then the other thing is the Golden Torch Award. What happens is the judges go through and select their finalists. The judges go through and they do their site visits. They tell me who the winner is of each category. About a week later, they all review all the winners' applications. And then they go to lunch and they decide who that Golden Torch Award winner. And that is the best overall winner. So that is the new award that was added last year. So that is pretty cool. It's pretty fun. So don't forget, nominations must be received by March 1st. They have to go online. Remember, sometimes technology is not our friend. So you want to give yourself plenty of time that it gets in. So make sure March 1st is the deadline. It can be by midnight on March 1st, but just remember, technology, computers are not always friendly. And my information is here for you. I will send you out the slide deck as well as the recording that we are using right now. And reach out to me. I am here for you for the next 3 months, as long as you need, actually. But I'm here for you. Please don't hesitate. You are not a bother. You are not a pest. My goal is for you all to be successful. I hope I have not scared anyone off. So much easier than it used to be. Really, you're passionate about your organizations. Writing 8 pages about what your organization does will probably fly off your pen or your computer keyboard, because it's really broken down so nicely with the 4 essays and the 3 questions for each essay. But I do wish you the very best of luck. You can start at bbb.org and start looking through it. Are there any final questions for me? Have I scared anybody off? I need to hear a rousing no. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Rousing, no.
Fantastic. All right. Well, I again am wishing you the best of luck. You have 2 months to make this happen. You got this. I am in your corner. Please reach out and have a fabulous evening. Take care.
Thanks, Sherry. Appreciate it.
You're
Thank you
so
for your
welcome.
time.
Thank you.
Very welcome.